Okay, so I am supposed to be ranting about the episode Barely Breathing, but instead of that, I'm going to talk about the Zoe and Maya feud as a whole because I feel like some of the fans have selective memory when it comes to the Zoe and Maya feud, and by that I mean they forget everything that Maya does wrong and make Zoe out to be this horrible person, which is not true. Um, and for starters, like before I get Maya stans coming at me going crazy, I do recognize Zoe's a bitch. And I do recognize, like, the shit she does isn't okay. But you guys have to realize that both of the girls are in the wrong. Not just Zoe, it's both. So now that we have that cleared up, we're going to talk about how stupid this entire thing is. Um, so, a lot of people like to say that Zoe was a bitch to Maya throughout the entire trip to Paris. And I find that really funny because the only things that Zoe did that were remotely mean to Maya before before the summer was over, before they were back at school, she got mad when Maya invited herself to the concert thing because she was only asking Tristan. And yeah, whatever, like she was sitting there when Zoe asked Tristan to go, but that doesn't matter. She didn't ask Maya, she asked Tristan. She wasn't planning on including Maya. Like, she wanted to be friends with Tristan because she knew who Tristan was because of his vlogs for the West Drive experience with Tori. So, that's why she wanted to be friends with Tristan. Obviously, we have seen that she has a terrible time making friends. So, it's not really a shocker that she didn't want Maya to include herself in the Zoe and Tristan friendship. So, after that, she, ignored Maya when, the security guy said she was, 13. But still, that goes back to she wanted to be friends with Tristan, not Maya. Okay, so, now that that's out of the way, when they were inside of the concert, and I can't remember all of it, but I do know that the reason why Zoe stepped on Maya's foot in her high heel, which was really funny, was because Maya, being the bitch that she is, decided to make a joke about how Zoe was getting kicked off West Drive because someone had posted it on a gossip blog. So it wasn't confirmed yet, but she was basically making Zoe she was making Zoe look stupid in front of people, or trying to. So it's not all Zoe in this. Stop pretending that it is. And then after that, when they're on the bus to go to the airport to go to Paris, Maya and Miles exchange their little look, and then Zoe's like, "Oh, is something going on between you two?" And Maya's like, "No," and she's like, "Good, let's keep it that way." And that was basically it. All that happened in Paris was Zoe getting together with Miles, and yeah, whatever, Maya was protecting her friend, but people like to think that Zoe got with Miles just to be spiteful to Tristan, and it's like, I don't know what show you're watching, because the last time I checked, Zoe and Tristan both had their little oh, I'm gonna get him first kind of thing. So it wasn't even about her getting with Miles just to piss Tristan off, because she didn't know that Tristan kissed Miles. Maybe she did know, but as far as we're concerned as the audience, Zoe never knew that Tristan was that obsessed with Miles. So people can't say she was doing it just to be a bitch to Tristan. And the way Tristan acted was complete bullshit, and he still hates her over a guy that she didn't even know he liked that much, and calling her a hussy because they were kissing, and I just it blows my mind, but whatever. And then Maya, people like to forget this one a lot. Maya tried to pour an entire bucket of water on Zoe and Miles both. And yeah, Zoe poured the red wine, or whatever it was, I'm assuming it was wine, but the red drink on a dress that was $5,000. But Maya bought the dress to get Miles' attention when he was dating Zoe. So don't fucking, like, oh my god, I don't understand why people think that she's like this little innocent saint. It doesn't even make any sense to me. Like, Zoe, honestly, like, after the first, like, comment she made on the bus, she wasn't ever really that much of a bitch to Maya, just, like, kind of, like, gave her annoyed glances. But other than that, oh, and the shoe comment or something, like, oh, that wouldn't work, you're flat-footed. But other than that, she was never setting out to get Maya in Paris. She was focusing on her relationship with Miles. And in the end, she just got played by Miles, who is this complete asshole. We thought that he was going to be nice, but he was just an asshole who was just using Zoe. And Miles, like, I hate Miles. But, like, oh, and Zoe did the, like, make her get on her knees thing, but then Winston was like, oh no, and then Miles, like, made her do it. So, other than that, Zoe hasn't really done that much to Maya regarding 13A. Now, of course, when we get into 13B, we see that Zoe is still bitter about Maya stealing Miles, and rightfully so, because it's very clear that the relationship meant more to Zoe than it did Miles. And I guarantee it's because she's never actually had, like, a real boyfriend, so she thought that Miles was being a real boyfriend, but Miles was just, like I said, playing her. So, obviously she's going to be pissed about it, and if it was her first boyfriend, then it makes sense for her to act as mean as she has been, because she's young, and she's stupid, and she's naive, and she's going to act that way. But that's not an excuse for Maya to act that way, because we've seen the shit that she's gone through, and we know Maya as a character. Like, we can skip all over the bullshit in 13B, besides this last episode, because a lot of people are saying that Maya had every right to sing that song about killing Zoe and wanting her dead, and how the world would be better off if she was dead. And they're saying that she has the right to do that because of the face range page, which was full of horribly photoshopped pictures that anyone in their right mind wouldn't believe were real. So, no, she doesn't really have the right to do that. That's, like, the worst retaliation ever. A lot of you may know, I have a lot of enemies in the Degrassi fandom. And I have said some pretty mean things to them. They've said some pretty mean things back to me. But not once have I ever said that I wanted someone dead. And never once have I said that the world would be better off if they were dead. And as far as I know, none of them has said that about me. At least to my face or to my knowledge. They probably have, but that's besides the point. So, it doesn't matter how mad you get at someone. It doesn't matter what they do. You should never sit there and say, oh, you deserve to die. Like, you're such a shitty person. Like, the world would be better off if you were dead. Like, and if it were any other character, like, whatever. But since it's Maya, and since she had a boyfriend who killed himself just months ago because one person said that it's gonna suck when Maya has to deal with, like, his crazy ass and all of this, and that he wants Cam to get out of Maya's life forever, and then Cam does get out of Maya's life forever by killing himself. So you would think that Maya would have enough common sense not to say shit like that, because it could really fuck Zoe up, because let's be real, guys. We don't really know Zoe that well. We know a little bit about her. We've seen her mom, who is obviously a bitch, and that's where she gets it from. We know that she has grown up in the acting industry and has this mindset of how she's supposed to act and she obviously doesn't know how to act in a regular high school. And that's about all we know. But with Maya, we know all of this stuff, and we know what she's been through and what she's seen and all of this, and she still has the nerve to sit there and say horrible shit like that to Zoe, and then get mad because Zoe is getting off scot-free because of the face range page, but she gets like suspended and grounded because of the death threat song. And it's like, you're really mad about that? Like, I don't understand. And it just really bothers me that people think that Maya can do no wrong, because she's very clearly not a good character. And she's like, and with Degrassi, like, they are sending the worst message ever with this storyline as a whole, because they're making it seem like if one person does one thing to you that's bad, you can do something that's like a million times worse to them, and it'll be okay because you may get suspended, but you'll get a boyfriend in the end. So it just, I don't know. I love Zoe. I think she's a wonderful character. I love Anna. But I can't stand Maya, and I can't stand the favoritism. You know, Degrassi has always had this issue with certain characters, and by certain characters I mean Emma and Claire and Maya, who are coincidentally the exact same character. They do this stupid shit and they don't really receive any consequences for it. They get excused for it. They look like the bigger and better person in all these situations when they are clearly not. So I don't like it, and I'm tired of the Zoe hate, because Zoe is pissed and had a right to be from the beginning. And like I said, I'm not defending her actions. Obviously, she shouldn't have made the face range page, but Maya should have never, ever, ever, ever thought about saying someone would be better off dead. Because, think of it this way, guys. I'm sorry, this is going on so long, but, like, imagine if Zoe was suicidal. Imagine if Zoe was in the same position as Cam was. And she's sitting in that classroom, and she hears this girl singing a song about how she needs to watch her back because she's dead, and how the world would be better off if she were dead. And not only that, but Miles, her ex-boyfriend, Tristan, who she wanted to be friends with again, and the entire class, except one single girl who's an extra, everyone else is laughing. Except, well, obviously Miss O wasn't. But everyone else is laughing as this girl is saying she wants to kill someone. And it's like, what? Like, who are these fucking kids, for one? Why would you think that was funny? I would get up and punch Maya in the face if I was in that classroom. Even if I didn't know who Zoe was. Like, that's just fucked up. I'm sorry, that's fucked up. So, like, imagine if she was suicidal and someone was trying to defend Maya by saying that the pictures, the Photoshop pictures, are going to be on the internet forever, but the song is only heard once. And I am calling bullshit on that, because Zoe, like, yes, you may physically hear the song once, but that doesn't mean you can't, like, repeat shit in your head over and over and over again. Like, Zoe could hear it playing, like, in her head at all times. She's gonna remember this. Like, just look, rewatch the episode, look at her fucking face. She's clearly upset by it, but it's Zoe, and she doesn't want to show that she's upset by it. Like, I've gotten death threats before. Obviously, I don't take them very seriously because they're on the internet, and it's just little kids acting stupid on Anonymous. But I have gotten death threats before, and I can remember every single death threat I've ever gotten. So, and that's, like, I don't take it seriously. Like, I'm 21 years old now, and I'm not going to listen to a 15-year-old saying they, like, want me dead, because I don't care. Like, you guys know that. But Zoe, on the other hand, is different. Zoe is not me. She's a young, naive 15-year-old girl, so it could really fuck her up. So don't sit there and say that it's okay that Maya's saying this because she was mad and retaliating, because it's not okay. And I'm running out of time, so I'm sorry. This is horrible, but it had to be said.